Hello and welcome to the webinar on the LIBOR transition. I am Preeti Mishra and I head marketing for the Treasury and Capital Markets vertical of Intellect Design Arena. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to host you today. These are difficult times and I appreciate your presence in today's session. I would like to touch upon few points. The webinar will begin with a presentation and a demo. During the entire session, all the participants will be on mute. You can submit your questions to the presenters by sending them across through the chat window. We will collate these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Today's presenters are Mr. Venkatesh Srinivasan, Executive Vice President and Partner, LIBOR Transition Solution, and Mr. Rohit Gajre, Product Head for LIBOR Transition Solution. Now, without any further ado, over to Venkatesh and Rohit.
Hi everyone, my name is Venkatesh Srinivasan, partner focusing on LIBOR transition. I'm glad to be here with you today. As the LIBOR transition end nears, India's NBFCs need to plan for an effective IBOR transition. Reason because as majority of LIBOR rates are likely to be phased out by end of 2021. This will invariably enable NBFC also to proactively engage with their corporate clients, will also be impacted by LIBOR migration on account of their sizable overseas borrowings and derivative exposure. NBFCs with exposure to interest rate derivatives and foreign currency borrowings linked to LIBOR need to be mindful of transition to the alternate reference rates called ARR and also called as the risk-free rates, RFRs. Topic for today is how Intellect LIBOR transition can help you pick up pace of progress in LIBOR transition and endure your investment in your current systems. NBFCs will face challenge with technology and contract repapering. These two areas remain the key focus areas for NBFCs. The scale of technology execution and associated testing will be the aim of our presentation today. Just a few slides on Intellect. Intellect Design Arena is a global leader in financial technology for banking, insurance, and other financial services. It's a uniquely focused product business. Intellect addresses the needs of financial institutions, including NBFCs, in varying stages of technology adoption. We are number one retail banking technology leader globally, as well as number one wholesale banking technology leader globally in the latest IBS sales lead. So coming to Intellect LIBOR transition solution, for NBFCs, the scale of technology change because of LIBOR transition is the biggest risk in 2021 for technology execution. The biggest risk NBFCs face around technology are three. One is the scale of the changes required. So it is LIBOR transition impacts front end to mid end to back end systems actually. Second is the extent of the scale of front to back testing and regression testing required. And third is execution of the migration from LIBOR to the new RFRs. NBFCs must focus on meeting the key regulatory and industry milestones. Given that we are in the final stretch, the question is how to pick up the pace of the progress. Global best practices says that we can increase the pace of the progress by having systems, one to manage interest rate variation and another for contract repapering Together with the minimal changes to the application, we can make systems compliant to the new benchmark. The impact of the replacement of IBORs, or also called interbank offer rates, is far reaching both geographically and by the sheer volume and diversity of product that uses them as benchmark. So here you can see your front end systems, risk management systems, treasury, finance. Several systems are impacted. So definitely it's an area which is quite wide, and NBFCs needs to focus on this. RFRs are quite different from LIBOR. LIBOR includes a measure of bank credit risk and as a term rate available over a range of maturities, and also had a term liquidity premium. It is calculated on a consistent basis across all 5 currencies. RFRs are backward-looking overnight rates on a pool of virtual risk-free investments. They have different characteristics that reflects their underlying local market. This puts tremendous pressure on daily interest accruals, payments and settlements, valuation, pricing, and risk management. So coming to the key focus area, which is the first focus area is the application change. So to actually speed up the application change in any organization or in NBFCs, we can fast track the implementation by having a system which manages the interest rate variation and then make minimal changes to the applications like loan or treasury systems. Similarly, to help you in repapering the contracts, you can accelerate the migration and get considerable cost savings by leveraging AI, ML based and bots based solution for repapering. So what is the Intellect LIBOR transition offering is? It has got 2 offerings. The first offering is called the RFR Calc service, which manages the interest rate variations, provides independent verification of interest, and also provides a pricing module support. Second is IDX, which helps in contract analysis and workflow management in customer outreach. These are the 2 major offerings that we have for LIBOR transition. At this point, I will request my colleague Rohit to demo these 2 offerings and also explain to you in detail how this works together to speed up the migration.
Hi, this is Rohit. I will be taking you to the next few slides and the demonstration. We'll go a little deeper into the model used for RFR Calc service. It consists of 4 kernels: the rates kernel, rates data kernel, the conventions formulas kernel, the rates API kernel, and the pricing verification and testing kernel. Together, these help deliver the RFR rates in a faster manner to the bank and accelerate the LIBOR transition. We'll dig deeper into the features. The rates data kernel consists of historical RFR and LIBOR rates and forward curves. This helps in pricing. Another key kernel is the RFR conventions and formulas kernel. What this kernel gives you is the flexibility to calculate the RFR rates based upon different market practices which are prevalent, be it look back, backward shift, lockout, simple average, compounded average, or non-cumulative compounded average, and floor mechanisms. The next layer is the delivery layer, which provides the APIs for the product processors to get the daily rates, be it simple, compounded, or NCR. And finally, at a higher level, we have the higher level order features, which are verification, testing, pricing, analytics. So together, these 4 layers provide you a complete solution for RFR transition purposes. This is the key summary slide. It talks about the advanced as well as arrears approaches and the credit spread calculation capability of RFR calculator. This is a representative image for the flow of rates. The RFR calculator interfaces with your rates systems to get the daily rates and then provides the correct rates for daily accruals to the product processors. We can see that the product processor to the RFR calc service integration is via APIs, and the RFR calc service can service multiple product processors. So using a product, the RFR calculator, you can accelerate the change, the LIBOR to RFR migration across multiple systems in a faster way with minimal or configuration changes in the product processors. The RFR calc service also has a UI for users to directly interact with it. Net, the RFR calculator provides you a flexible mechanism and is designed to be a bolt-on to your product processor. We will now start off with a demo. The RFR calc service has three key functionalities: the rates calculator, independent verification, and pricing. We'll first start off with the rate calculator. The rate calculator is the key module which provides the correct rate for day-to-day accruals. In the case of RFRs, the accrual on a given RFR, say be Sonia, Sofa, Esther, would depend upon the convention you use. That includes the rate, the day count convention, how many decimal place precision you need, which method of accrual, look back, backward shift, last recent, etc. How many days lag, how many days lockout, the averaging methodology, etc. So now let's take an illustration. Let's consider a loan which starts from 22nd February, goes up to 1st of March for a 1 week period, and see how the interest rate accruals would happen for that loan. Since we're talking about daily overnight rates, we'll consider overnight and press submit. So right now what the system has done is it's told me the daily SOFR that needs to be used for accrual on 22nd February, which is the first day of the loan, assuming a 5-day lag, and that rate happens to be 0.05%. This represents the rate which was 5 business days prior to 22nd February, which was 12th of February. Now, the second day of the accrual would have an API request coming from the product processor for the second day of the loan. And here the system will provide a rate. So for the second day of the loan, 23rd February, it would be 0.06%. So this process will continue each day for you to get the correct approval of the borrowing. There is another way of doing it, and that is very common for, especially in the syndicated loan market. So if you have a syndicated borrowing, let's consider the same example. SOFR, we had it from 22nd of February to 1st of March. This particular screen takes in all of the contract details because it is essential for the calculation. 5-day lag, look back method. We will consider principal of 100 million for convenience. So the numbers are so small at this point of time. The interest rates, spread of 2%. We'll set the day count to be actually by 360, which is prevalent in dollars. Click submit. So here, if you click the enable LCR button, we tell you the non-cumulative compounded rate. So this is a different sort of rate calculation where you take the cumulative compounded rates between 2 consecutive business days, take their difference, and then annualize it to get the non-cumulative compounded rate. This particular mechanism is more popular amongst syndicated loans. So what you've just seen is the RFR calculator providing all of these complex calculations, sitting outside of the your core processor, be it loan system or any other system. This reduces the complexity of change in your current systems. You can simply plug in the RFR calculator and it can tell you the correct rates, thereby accelerating the RFR transition. Remember, all of this happens via an API, so the integration is also simplified. We'll now go back to the core demo slide. Okay. Now we'll talk about the second module, which is the independent verification capability. So let's go back to the main screen. Here, the accrued interest verifier screen, apart from providing the NCR, provides you much more information. In this case, it's telling you that the average rate for the period was 0.0371%, The interest amount due on this particular loan for that 1 week period was $39,610.28. Now, in case of RFRs, due to difference in convention, if you decide to have a 5 decimal place precision, you would see that the interest rate has changed slightly, and so has the interest amount. Furthermore, if you decide to change your method of accrual from look back to backward shift, and you decide to use a different lag, okay, this also makes the interest rate and the interest amount sensitive to the changes in conventions. So this is an important factor which we have to realize, and the systems have to be capable to handle these changes. Hence, it is very important for us to create a right test bench or the correct copy of the results, so we are able to ensure that the calculations are correct. So this could be an example of possibly the lending bank demanding so and so interest, and the accrued interest verifier will help you in calculating the correct interest amount and highlight any discrepancies. Now, so far whatever I have shown to you is being done manually. This can also be automated. So let's say you have a lot of loans, or you have a lot of scenarios you want to get the interest rates and interest amounts for. For example, I have around 300 scenarios or test cases per se, which I want to check what is the interest accrual or whose interest accrual. And these cover interest rates, the RFR for Sonia, for SOFR, for Esther, across different methods like look back, backward shift, across different lags, across different lockouts, across different day count conventions for a different start and end date and different principal. All of this can be fed to the system in bulk, in batch, and system is able to provide you an output. So in this case, the columns in pink are the outputs. So the most useful output, or most likely to be used output, would be the realized rate, what is the average rate, and the interest amount for the particular interest or the loan period. So this is automatable. Further, if you the system has a capability to provide you a dashboard where you can automatically release the test case outputs to across the team to make it more transparent. It can tell you how each test case fared. Here, every row is a test case, and you have a pass and fail status. This way, you are able to do this whole verification and testing in a more efficient manner. This will reduce the time to implement projects in the RFR and give you more confidence in your RFR transition. We'll now move on to the third key capability, which is the pricing capability of the RFR calc services. This consists of 3 subpoints. One is the credit adjustment spread, second is the impact analysis, and third is forward yield curves. We'll first consider the credit adjustment spread. The LIBOR and the RFR differ in terms of the credit risk. LIBORs have a higher credit risk and are at a higher level. RFRs, which are overnight and possibly collateralized, will have lower credit risk. So when we replace, whenever our borrowings, which were LIBOR based, get replaced with SOFR or the alternative rate borrowings, there is a difference in credit risk which needs to be compensated for. And the RFR calc services has a mechanism to calculate that. Now, in this case, what we have shown is the credit risk adjustment for different tenors of US GBP LIBOR. In this case, it is overnight, 1 week, 1 month, all the way to 12 months. So here, what it means is for 1 month GBP LIBOR, you need to be adding 3.77 basis points on top of your average SONIA. For 12-month GBP LIBOR, you should be adding 46 or 46.42 basis. Similar calculation can be done for all other RFRs. So Intellect has implemented ISDA's recommended historical median approach, where we consider the difference in credit spreads between LIBOR and RFR over a period of 5 years, which is the look back window, using the backward shift method and the 2-day lag. Okay. So now in this case, we have calculated the credit adjustment spread for USD LIBOR for 1 month, it was 11.4 basis. For 12 months, it is 60.8 basis. If you see the credit adjustment spread for a tenor differ by tenor and also by the RFR. This is part A of the pricing. Now that we've considered the pricing based on historical basis, there's always a question whether if you move your current borrowing from LIBOR to RFR, what is there an impact to you in your borrowing cost? So in order to help you with that, we have another function called spread analytics. Now let's consider an example. I'll just upload the loan information or the borrowing information in this case via an Excel template. So here it contains the details of the loan or the borrowing. For example, it was 100 million principal. It's maturing in 2023, and it is based on GBP LIBOR, 6-month GBP LIBOR with a spread of 3%. And now this is getting replaced or proposed to get replaced with SONIA, a SONIA-based loan, with a lag of 5 days and a look-back method and a spread of 3%. And based on our initial estimates, we believe that the credit adjustment spread is 25 basis points. So using RFR calculator and the forward yield curves, which are uploaded in the system, we can figure out the net present value of the old loan, the original loan. Here, the way the system works is it looks at the forward yield curves for LIBOR, calculates the expected coupon or the interest to be paid at the future date. Similarly, it calculates the expected coupon on the RFR, the revised loan. Okay, calculates the net present value of both of these. In this particular instance, we see that there's a difference of around 361,000, which needs to be which needs to be compensated. So, in order to help you with that, the system is able to tell you how much credit adjustment spread needs to be added to make these transactions NPV neutral. Now, if in this case, had you not used 25 basis, but used 35,967,834 basis and submit, we would see that the NPV of the old loan and the revised loan are approximately equal, and there is no impact cost. So this is an important exercise from our perspective as a borrower to ensure that we are getting priced correctly based upon the market rates. There is no arbitrage over there. So this can be used for that purposes. The same quality over here can be used to evaluate the impact of borrowings or differences in borrowings on our various assets like swaps, bonds, and also loans. We now move on to the third and important part of the pricing functionality, the yield curves, the forward yield curves for RFRs. Now, we saw in this particular example how the forward yield curves help you forecast the future cash flows and then get the net present values. We'll talk about how RFR calculator can help you calculate the forward yield curve for SOFR. In order to calculate the forward yield curves, we rely on market information. This market information is in the form of the prices of swaps and futures publicly traded. In case of SOFR, the futures are available as 1 month and 3 month contracts. They are liquid in the shorter end. Swaps are available for longer durations, up to 70 years. They are fairly liquid. For this particular example, we are taking a 1 month future, and we are also considering swaps up to 25 years. There are differences in how these instruments are priced. Futures, for example, are priced using simple average of rates. The 1 month future. The 3 month future is calculated using compounded average. The swaps are always on a compounded average basis. So all of this information is incorporated in the RFR calculator. It takes these prices and then using the bootstrap principle creates a yield curve. The yield curve that we've created for this particular example is shown here. This was done based on the prices available on 10th of November 2020. So the yield curve started with the value close to zero, and it was expected that the yields would rise at to higher levels in the longer tenor. As we saw earlier, the yield curves are important for the firm to check the impact cost of moving from LIBOR to RFR. They'll be useful for pricing of the interest rate swaps that we enter into. They will also be useful for fund transfer pricing or ALM aspects for risk management. They are required for Basel III compliance. Another key aspect of these yield curves is that they serve as a good means of getting your hedges, testing the effectiveness of our hedging mechanism, and serve an important purpose in the overall risk management framework of the firm. We now move on to the second and the important part of LIBOR transition offering, IDX for repapering. Legacy contracts do not consider RFR rates and the permanent cessation of LIBOR post 2021. If the legacy contracts are not modified, they will expose the firms to legal and conduct risks. The contract repapering, if done in a traditional manner, would be expensive. Machine learning and NLP are new technologies which can help in this exercise. IDX has many NLP models which can be used to classify documents, understand the nature of the document, extract correct keywords, say maturity dates, contract information, fallbacks, and provide you a summarized output. Once this is done, these changes need to be made and approved with the client. There is a different workflow for the repapering, which can be automated using intelligent bots. So we have a solution on that. We'll briefly go through that. First, we'll start off with IDX for LIBOR contract analysis. The legal ops team would be responsible for working out all of the contracts to ensure they are compatible in the new RFR regime. Here, for example, each row represents a separate contract. These contracts can be fetched, sourced by IDX from the document management system using APIs. The IDX can go through this contract and provide you a summarized output based on the keywords in each contract. For example, maturity date, IBOR, fallbacks. So these have been extracted by IDX based on our training. It provides you a link to that particular section of the document. So here on page number 19 of an 86-page document, it was able to identify the fallback. Now, IDX can read documents which are not only readable PDFs, but also image files, because it has an inbuilt OCR engine. Now, going back to this fallback, this was an example of a poor fallback in which, in the absence of LIBOR rates, it instructed that the firm use the last reset rate. Now, in the post 2021, when LIBOR ceased to exist, this kind of contract language would imply that the floating rate contract becomes a fixed rate contract. This is not the intention. Hence, this needs to be changed and repapered. You see that IDX was able to help the bank and the firm to identify changes in the contracts so that they can be repapered. Once the legal team has repapered the contracts, these have to now go to the client for approvals. And that involves multiple teams and steps. For example, there could be the legal ops team, the finance team, and the relationship manager, all from the firm, and there could be the client. And the typical flow of information would involve the first draft being sent from the legal team to the relationship manager to the client, getting the response with or without changes, sending the feedback to the legal ops, then discussion between legal ops and the finance teams before sending again, the second iteration in which a new draft is sent to the relationship manager to the client, and so on and so forth. So this is a workflow which can be iterative. The more the iterations, the more risks of having conduct risk. Furthermore, it is important to maintain audit trail to prevent any future disputes. So all of these things are important in managing the contract workflow when it comes to repapering and negotiation with customers. Intellect IDX has bot capabilities which can preside and process email information. These bots would be trained to work on pre-specified templates like subject lines, content, email content, attachment types, to identify whether or not these emails contain contractual information. They can also be provided instructions to take care of certain, or to handle a particular request based on an email. So in this case, the bot recognized that based on that particular email pattern, it has to be saved in a X location. So the workflow automation tool will rely on multiple such bots sitting at different places or teams within the organization to give you an overview of and coverage of the entire contract negotiation process of the team. This will provide you a higher level dashboard, which will help the supervisors monitor the progress in contract negotiation, so that it is not person dependent and transparent to all. This transparency will reduce the risks associated with risk and delays associated with contract negotiations, reduce the conduct risk, and improve the efficiency of the bank. This brings us to the end of our presentation and demo. I will now request Venkatesh to carry forward. Thank you.
To summarize, it is imperative for NBFCs to understand what it means to link their FX borrowings and derivative transactions to say SOFR or SONIA or other comparable RFR benchmark interest rate. Mumbai Interbank Forward Offer Rate, or MIFOR, widely used by banks in India for setting prices on forward rate agreements and derivatives as USD LIBOR may now be linked with SOFR. NBFCs cannot remain detached from this transition. It is equally important for them to inventorize their LIBOR-linked borrowings and derivatives exposure and develop a very proactive roadmap to assess the impact on their financial statements, bottom line, and their ability to raise overseas borrowing at a competitive rate. A bank in UAE is our reference implementation site where Intellect Transition Solution help the bank to speed up its readiness in lending and borrowing solution with the incoming ARS. With this, at this point of time, I'm open to take any questions from the audience. Thank you.